Dragons are the nuclear weapons of Westeros, unstoppable forces of destruction that changed warfare forever. In House of the Dragon, these magnificent beasts aren't just background elements. They're central characters with their own personalities, histories, and impact on the story. Today, I'm breaking down every major dragon from House of the Dragon, revealing their unique traits, their riders, and the pivotal moments that made them legendary. I've spent weeks researching Targaryen lore, analyzing George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, and studying every dragon scene frame by frame to bring you the most comprehensive breakdown of these magnificent creatures. So let's dive into the fiery world of Targaryen dragons and discover what makes each of them unique in the Dance of Dragons. Syrax. Cyrax is Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen's personal mount, a yellow she-dragon with golden scales that catch the sunlight like burnished metal. Rhaenyra claimed Cyrax when she was just 7 years old, making her one of the youngest Targaryens to ever bond with a dragon. What makes Cyrax special is her temperament. She's relatively calm for a dragon, but still fiercely protective of Rhaenyra. Their bond is one of the longest and most stable in the show, representing Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. Just as Cyrax has been loyal to her since childhood, Rhaenyra believes the realm should be loyal to her as the named heir. Syrax isn't the largest or most battle-hardened dragon in the Targaryen arsenal. She's been described as a dragon accustomed to regular feeding and the comforts of the dragon pit, making her somewhat less ferocious than wild dragons. This mirrors Rhaenyra herself, raised in the comfort of court rather than hardened by war. The most significant moment for Cyrax comes when she flies Rhaenyra to Dragonstone to confront Daemon about stealing a dragon egg. This scene establishes not just Rhaenyra's courage, but Cyrax's role as an extension of her power and authority. When Cyrax roars at Caraxes, it's not just a dragon challenging another dragon. It's Rhaenyra asserting herself against her uncle. Syrax's name comes from a Valyrian goddess, showing Rhaenyra's connection to her family's ancient heritage. This naming choice reveals how the Targaryens view their dragons, not just as weapons, but as living connections to their lost homeland and divine right to rule. Caraxes. Caraxes, known as the Blood Wyrm, is Prince Daemon Targaryen's fearsome red dragon. With his long neck, lean build, and blood-red scales, Caraxes is one of the most distinctive and terrifying dragons in the Targaryen stable. Before bonding with Daemon, Caraxes was ridden by Prince Aemon Targaryen, Daemon's uncle and a formidable warrior in his own right. This history makes Caraxes one of the more battle-experienced dragons, having seen combat during the wars in the Stepstones. Like Daemon himself, Caraxes has a reputation for violence and unpredictability. What makes Caraxes unique is his unusual physical appearance. He's been described as lean and formidable, with a serpentine quality that sets him apart from other dragons. His long neck and limbs give him a distinctive silhouette in the sky. You know it's Caraxes coming long before you can make out Daemon on his back. The relationship between Daemon and Caraxes perfectly mirrors each other. Both are dangerous, unpredictable, and seemingly always spoiling for a fight. When Daemon illegally occupies Dragonstone, it's Caraxes who makes the threat real, challenging any dragon who might approach. Their bond is based not on gentle affection but mutual respect for each other's capacity for violence. Caraxes' most defining moment comes during the confrontation at Dragonstone, where he faces down multiple dragons without backing down. This standoff establishes him as one of the most fearsome dragons in the realm, willing to fight even when outnumbered, just like his rider. Vhagar. Vhagar is the oldest and largest dragon in House of the Dragon, a living legend who once belonged to Helaena Targaryen, sister-wife to Aegon the Conqueror. By the time of the show, Vhagar is approximately 181 years old, ancient for a dragon, and has grown to a size that dwarfs nearly every other dragon in Westeros. After Visenya's death, Vhagar remained riderless for decades until claimed by Lady Laenor Velaryon. Following Laena's death, the dragon was claimed by Aemon Targaryen in one of the most pivotal moments of the series. This moment transforms Aemon from a bullied, eyeless boy into perhaps the most dangerous player in the coming civil war. What makes Vhagar special isn't just her size, though she's massive enough to make even other dragons look small by comparison, but her historical significance. She is a direct link to Aegon's conquest, having helped forge the Seven Kingdoms through fire and blood. Riding Vhagar doesn't just give Aemond a weapon, it gives him a connection to the most glorious period of Targaryen history. Vhagar's appearance matches her age and battle experience. Her scales have faded from their original color to a weathered bronze green, marked with the scars of countless battles. Her wings are tattered at the edges, yet still powerful enough to create windstorms when she takes flight. When she roars, it's not just loud, it's the sound of history itself. The most significant moment for Vhagar comes when Aemond claims her on Driftmark. This isn't just a boy finding a dragon. It's a shift in the balance of power that will have devastating consequences. Aemond gaining control of Westeros' largest living weapon fundamentally changes the dynamics between the Greens and the Blacks, giving Alicent's faction a tremendous military advantage. Meleys. Meleys, known as the Red Queen, is Princess Rhaenys Targaryen's dragon, a sleek, swift she-dragon with scales of scarlet and pink that earned her royal nickname. In her prime, Meleys was considered the fastest dragon in Westeros, capable of outflying even Caraxes. By the time of House of the Dragon, Meleys is no longer young, but she remains a formidable combatant. Rhaenys, known as the Queen Who Never Was, finds in Meleys a perfect match. Both are powerful female figures denied their rightful place, yet still commanding tremendous respect. What makes Meleys special is her combination of speed and fighting experience. Unlike younger dragons who might be faster but inexperienced, or older dragons who are powerful but slower, Meleys represents the perfect balance, fast enough to outmaneuver opponents, yet experienced enough to fight strategically. The bond between Rhaenys and Meleys is one of the most enduring in the show. Both rider and dragon have aged together, creating a partnership based on mutual understanding and respect. When Rhaenys mounts Meleys, it's not a young Targaryen testing their limits. It's a seasoned dragon rider who knows exactly what her mount is capable of. Meleys' most defining moment comes during Rhaenyra's coronation at Dragonstone, when Rhaenys arrives on her back to pledge support to the Blacks. This moment isn't just about adding another dragon to Rhaenyra's cause, it's about legitimacy. The Red Queen's presence signals that the older generation of dragon riders, those who remember the old king's reign, stand with Rhaenyra. Sunfyre. Sunfyre, known as Sunfyre the Golden, is King Aegon II Targaryen's dragon and arguably the most beautiful dragon in Westeros during this period. With scales of pure gold that shine brilliantly in sunlight and pale pink wing membranes, Sunfyre lives up to his name as a creature of breathtaking beauty. Despite his magnificent appearance, Sunfyre is not the largest or oldest dragon in the realm. What he lacks in size, however, he makes up for in ferocity and fighting spirit, much like his rider, Aegon II, who compensates for his personal shortcomings with aggression and entitlement. What makes Sunfyre unique is the contrast between his beautiful appearance and his capacity for violence. This mirrors Aegon II himself, a king who wears the trappings of majesty while harboring a cruel and petty nature. The Golden Dragon represents the shining facade of legitimacy that the Greens attempt to place over their usurpation. The relationship between Aegon and Sunfyre is not as deep or instinctive as some other dragon rider pairs. Aegon claims Sunfyre more out of entitlement than genuine connection, viewing his dragon as another symbol of his right to rule rather than a partner. This reflects Aegon's approach to kingship, focused on the symbols and privileges of power rather than its responsibilities. Sunfyre's most significant moment comes during Aegon's coronation, when the dragon's golden scales catch the light as he circles the Red Keep. This display isn't just spectacle, it's propaganda, a visual reinforcement of Aegon's claim, using the dragon's beauty to awe the small folk into accepting him as their rightful king. Dreamfire. Dreamfire is a pale blue she-dragon bonded to Lady Helaena Targaryen, Aegon II's sister wife. With silvery markings that shimmer across her blue scales, Dreamfire has an ethereal, almost mystical appearance that matches her name. Before Helaena, Dreamfire was ridden by Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, daughter of King Aegon I, giving this dragon a rich history within the Targaryen dynasty. By the time of House of the Dragon, Dreamfire is mature but not elderly, representing the middle generation of dragons. What makes Dreamfire special is her temperament. She's described as being gentler than most dragons, matching Helena's own dreamy, gentle nature. While still capable of destruction like any dragon, Dreamfire lacks the aggressive instincts of dragons like Caraxes or Vhagar, preferring flight to fight when possible. The bond between Helaena and Dreamfire reflects their shared otherworldly quality. Helaena, with her prophetic dreams and disconnection from court politics, finds in Dreamfire a kindred spirit, a creature that exists somewhat apart from the brutal realities of Targaryen power struggles. Dreamfire's most defining characteristic is her unpredictability. Like Helaena, whose prophetic utterances come without warning, Dreamfire can be calm one moment and panic the next. This unpredictability makes her both less reliable in battle, but potentially more dangerous in chaotic situations. A wild card in the Dance of Dragons. Vermithor. Vermithor, known as the Bronze Fury, is one of the oldest and largest dragons in Westeros during this period, second in size only to Vhagar. With bronze scales and great tan wings, Vermithor presents an imposing figure that commands respect from dragons and humans alike. What makes Vermithor particularly significant is his former rider. He was the personal mount of King Jaehaerys I Targaryen, the old king whose long and peaceful reign is still remembered as a golden age. Since Jaehaerys' death, Vermithor has remained riderless, dwelling in his lair on Dragonstone. Vermithor's size and battle experience make him one of the most formidable weapons in the coming civil war, if someone can claim him. A dragon of his magnitude could shift the balance of power dramatically, which is why both factions would be desperate to secure his loyalty. Unlike younger dragons born in the Dragon Pit, Vermithor has spent decades living semi-wild on Dragonstone, making him more independent and potentially more difficult to control. This independence reflects the legacy of Jaehaerys himself, a king whose long shadow continues to influence the realm long after his death. The most significant aspect of Vermithor is what he represents: unclaimed power. In a conflict where every advantage is crucial, Vermithor is a game-changing asset waiting to be utilized. His eventual claiming will mark a major turning point in the Dance of Dragons, potentially altering the course of the war. Seasmoke. Seasmoke is a pale silver-gray dragon bonded to Sir Laenor Velaryon. Younger and smaller than dragons like Vhagar or Caraxes, Seasmoke nonetheless possesses a speed and agility that makes him formidable in his own right. What makes Seasmoke unique is his coloration. His pale scales allow him to blend with clouds and sea mist, making him difficult to spot against the sky. This camouflage ability gives Laenor a tactical advantage, allowing for surprise attacks or stealthy reconnaissance. The bond between Laenor and Seasmoke is particularly interesting given Laenor's complicated personal life. While Laenor's marriage to Rhaenyra is one of political convenience, his relationship with Seasmoke is genuine and deep. The dragon represents perhaps the most authentic aspect of Laenor's identity. When riding Seasmoke, he can be truly himself, free from the constraints and expectations of court. Seasmoke's most defining moment comes during the War for the Stepstones, where he and Laenor join Daemon and Caraxes in battle against the Triarchy. This combat experience, shared with his rider, establishes Seasmoke as a battle-tested dragon, despite his youth and smaller size. The name Seasmoke perfectly captures this dragon's essence: elusive, difficult to grasp, yet capable of appearing suddenly and with devastating effect. Like sea mist itself, this dragon represents the blurred boundaries between visibility and invisibility, between the Targaryen and Velaryon bloodlines that Laenor himself straddles. These dragons aren't just weapons or mounts, they're characters in their own right, with distinct personalities that mirror and complement their riders. Their presence fundamentally changes the nature of power and warfare in Westeros, making the Dance of the Dragons not just a civil war, but a devastating conflict unlike anything the realm had seen before. What makes House of the Dragon so compelling is how it shows these magnificent creatures as more than just symbols of Targaryen power. They're thinking, feeling beings whose bonds with their riders create some of the most complex relationships in the series. As the Dance of Dragons unfolds, these relationships will be tested in fire and blood, forever changing the fate of Westeros. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the major dragons in House of the Dragon, hit that like button and subscribe to Explainified for more deep dives into your favorite fantasy worlds. Let me know in the comments which dragon you find most fascinating, or if there's another aspect of House of the Dragon you'd like me to explain next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.